Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another Manchester United Liverpool show. I know it is scheduled later than usual. My apologies on that. That's because Saint couldn't make it. So, you know what I'm saying? We had to delve into the Sarcasm City TV squad depth. And to give Liverpool credit, as much as I dislike their football team, their content creators are exceptional. Their content creators are exceptional, in particular the depth we have here on Sarcasm City TV. So whether it is Saint or whether it's someone who's deputized for Saint before, everybody here is of a certain class apart from Ryan. You know what I'm saying? He's awful. He is absolutely terrible. And that's why this man Rams is laughing about it. Yes, Rams, what are you telling me? You good, fam?
Nah, I was waiting for that last bit, man. Honestly, I was
You
waiting
know,
for that.
of course you was waiting for it because you know it's correct. You know what I'm saying? You know, you carry him, you, Saint, Monts, Cams, you know what I'm saying? All the Liverpool fans who be on the channel all carry him. And you know this. But Rams is in the building. What are you telling me though, Rams? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm real good. To be fair, the reason why it's such a late stream is because of myself. So big up Flawless for making the time and trying to adjust his busy schedule with mine. So big up Flawless
We
for all
make things
that,
work.
man.
We make things work, man. That's how it works, man. Teamwork makes the dream work, people here at Sarcasm City TV. So that's why you get Rams. And you know one thing about Rams: one, he's very level-headed; two, extremely knowledgeable as well. So we can throw out names in regards to. I'm glad this is a great show for him to be on because I know nothing about Thuram that Liverpool have been linked with. So I'm sure we'll get into all of that. Please keep all your questions, all your comments, all your questions, Manchester United and Liverpool related. Please, people, a lot's going on with Liverpool, a lot's going on with Manchester United. As always, let's make sure you bump up the likes on the video. Please make sure you share it across the socials. And on top of those two things, make sure you subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV as well. Of course, if you super chat as well, I will get straight to the comment as I get straight to the comment as well. But big up to Stephanie G, big up Jacob, big up Warrior J, Elias as well. Big up Black Diamond. I'll check out what you sent me shortly. Man said apart from Ryan. Notice nobody defends him when I say that. No one's like, yo, Ryan's actually a good con. None of you lot miss him. You lot just make me out to be the bad guy.
Right, Ryan's a nice guy.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, nice guy.
I,
See
I'll,
how he said
I'll
nothing
try.
about his football knowledge, but we
I
move.
try. I try and defend him whenever I can. But whenever he can, he does have some decent football opinions.
Yeah. You've been trying to crash on Lavia recently. Why I don't know, but we move. But anyways, let's just move off of that onto Thuram. How do you pronounce his first name? Is it Khepren? It's
Exactly that,
Khepren.
Khephren.
All right.
Khephren.
So Khepren Thuram was let equip. I seen them post out on their Twitter that you lot are linked with him. So your thoughts, happy about it, not happy about it, etc.
Absolutely ecstatic about this news. Even though my voice don't sound it, I am inside very, very, very happy.
This guy's an idiot, you know. I was gonna say that, but go on, carry on. This guy my fool, yo. That's what
um,
my life.
yeah, this is a guy that I've wanted for quite a bit of time, like a long, long time. I've been on him since 2019 when he first came into the Nice side, and he's impressed me every single way. He started more of as a DM in a double pivot, but now sort of moved forward to as a box-to-box midfielder, and I've been really impressed with him. Very physically dominant, very tall, standing at 6'4",
Is he
but
6'4"?
incredible. He's 6'4". He's
Jesus.
massive. Like
Jesus.
I swear Lillian was right 6'3", 6'4" as well. His
Yeah.
dad.
Lillian Thuram, his pops was world-class baller and he was tall as well. Yeah. World-class
Mm.
centre back.
And
World-class centre back.
his brother's not too short himself. He's 6'2", 6'3". So he's obviously got them genes in him. Like he's a massive player. But what I love about him is the fact that with that height, he has tremendous agility on the ball, and
Okay.
he has that a bit like a Pogba. You get what I mean? Where he just has that little touch forward, but looks so silky with it. That kind of thing. I'm really, really impressed with that. Um, I think the big issue with him is probably his end product, which is for every midfielder is a something that they need to work on, especially when they're young. Not saying that he's terrible, but he still has work to do on there. But defending, taking the ball forward, his intelligence at his age, and his overall game as a centre midfielder is absolutely tremendous. And I'm really excited about these rumours, and I'm begging to God it's real, because he has the capabilities of being a top class midfielder.
Okay.
And we're talking me and my boy, big up my boy Kesh, every single day of the week. We have been on him for a while, and we've been in awe of him for a while. And I don't want to put words into his mouth, but the way he describes him is almost like Patrick Vieira-esque when he first started out.
That's a big statement, especially that's a huge statement, especially to me, because Patrick Vieira gets in my all-time Premier League 11. So that's a huge statement. I'm a massive fan of Patrick Vieira, but go on, carry on.
But you can see the similarities in the fact that the physique is very, very similar, very dominant midfielders, and very, very good on the ball. So like the old term, has great feet for a big lad. He personifies that to a T. Incredible footwork and doesn't look at all uncomfortable on the ball. I'm really on board with this signing. This is a signing where we could be like, we could challenge our way back into it, because he's not a project signing, but he's also not a signing that would guarantee us success. He's in that middle bracket where he's like, there's still some work to improve, but he can take us to the next level at the same time. And I'm begging this is true. If it's not, then Liverpool playing games with my heart again is what it is.
Let's hope they are pulling on your heartstrings. So that's high praise. And what I was going to ask you was, who is he like? But you mentioned him being similar. Would you say he's similar to Pogba in terms of not skill level, but profile?
Profile in terms of physical wise, and the way he sort of gets around the pitch. I'd say he's a lot more defensively stronger than Pogba, but doesn't have that technical ability like Pogba. Pogba's technical ability is one of the best in the world. When I was watching like Juventus, it's like if you're rating him out of 10, swap Pogba's attacking ability with his with Thuram's defensive ability, and vice versa, and then you've got sort of like a similar profile of what each player is. But I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
Praise, man.
I know. This is a guy I've been on for quite a while.
High praise.
Go on, obviously, the name does stand out because of his dad and his older brother. It doesn't help that he's got a little bit of pressure on him. But if you want to talk about minerals and DNA, winning's in his DNA. Just ask his dad.
True say, like I said, his dad, like Lilian Thuram's one of the best centre backs I've ever seen.
Didn't he score like 2 goals in the World Cup?
I believe he may have. Because I was watching even before like Lilian Thuram World Cup. I was watching him when he was like, I'm old enough. I was watching him at Parma when him and Cannavaro was the centre back partnership. That team was him, Cannavaro, Veron, they had Crespo, Chiesa.
Buffon.
That's when Serie A, Buffon was in goal as well. Yeah. Like he was one of my favorite centre backs way back then, like before like he blew up properly, because they were both.
I saw him at the end of his career, 2006 World Cup. He's still very, very, very good centre back.
Exceptional, but that's high praise. You know what I'm saying? So where would you see Thuram fitting in your side? Does he play on the right of that midfield three?
Left.
You reckon he plays on the left? Okay, how come you think he plays on the left?
His best part of his game is him cutting onto that right hand side and then trying to find that killer ball, trying to take a shot from
into his
distance.
Right foot. You mean?
Cutting onto his right foot. I'm sorry. That's his biggest attribute. And I think whenever it comes to defensive part of the game, each side has its own sort of like nuances on how to read the game, and he's more adept at reading the game from the left than he is on the right, from what I've seen. So that's why I say the left hand side, and I'm not too bothered if he can't play on the right, because from the looks of things, Alexis Mac Allister can play on the right himself.
That's another person we're going to talk about, because you lot have been linked with a lot of midfielders, 100%.
But I think someone said it in the comment about Bellingham. If we weren't going to get Bellingham, I said this many times, Thuram is the guy that we should try to fill in those boots. A cheaper, better option, arguably.
You're saying a better option than Bellingham?
In terms of value for money, yeah.
Because Bellingham was talking, because I've heard the price is around, correct me if I'm wrong, 60 million for Thuram?
60 million euros, so yeah. at the time when I said it was better, he was worth around about 30 to 40 million pounds.
Jeez. All right. And you
So
mentioned it there. We'll go to from your left-hand side of your left central midfield to the right central midfield. Mac Allister. It seems like that deal is gaining pace as well. Thoughts? Do you like the idea of that link up with Thuram on one side and then Mac Allister on the other, but you still need that 6, which we'll get onto. But yeah, talk to us.
multiple facets in our midfield is something that we've lacked for a while. The only time we saw it was last season when we're challenging for the quad. I said this on the terrace so many times. The reason why we're in the quad, we're challenging for a quad, is because our midfielders, for some stupid reason, decided to stay fit, and they all have something different about their game, and it's a game changer when it comes to substitutions or even when it comes to certain matches. Like we saw against Newcastle and Benfica, we didn't opt to play Henderson and Thiago. I think we played Milner and Keita, and Keita had 2 of his best performances those 2 games, and I think he got a goal against Newcastle and assist against Benfica, and that's what we were just talking about. The difference between Keita and Thiago last season, not much, but Keita's more of a driver with the ball. Thiago's more of a dictator. Henderson's more of a enforcer, trying to win the ball back and play the ball forward as quickly as possible. And then you also got Milner, who's very similar to Henderson, and more or less an enforcer himself. Like having different, and obviously we got Oxlade-Chamberlain at the same time, who's more of a driver with the ball. Like he's good at driving with the ball, taking risks, taking shots from long distance. He's that kind of player. Having all those facets in Klopp's arsenal, that's what made us so good last season, and that's what made us challenge for a quad. And I just see the same thing happening with this 2 signings right now. 2 very different profiles, but 2 very, very good players. That's the most important thing. They're very, very, very good players. I think any team in the Premier League would have taken them, whether it be Man City, Man United, Arsenal, whoever, they would have wanted them. Then those 2 kind of players. And if we get these 2 players, it is a very, very, very big step to us challenging again.
All right. Okay, Rams with the high praise. Before we continue, obviously continue to get your questions in. Please keep them Liverpool or Manchester United related. Let's bump up the likes. We are at 20 likes. There's over 30 of you lot in the building. Like check 1 2 1 2. Let's get up to 30 likes, people. Let's get up to 30 likes and subscribe if you're new as well. Yeah, go on, family.
Did you watch the game last night?
Which game?
Heat versus Celtics.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course I did. Without doubt, man. You already know, of course. Watch along for it on the Twitch. Very entertaining. Big up to what's it called to Ahmed, because he was stressed. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him.
Yeah, big up Jimmy Butler as well, man.
Hey Mods, you don't know what to do. Yeah, talk about it, fam. I know you want to chat about it. It's calm.
Yeah, it's just I feel as though he's the kind of player. Have you heard the rumor that he might be Michael Jordan's son? Illegitimate
what rumor
son.
is that? No.
Apparently, people said that he is Michael Jordan's illegitimate son, and I'm like, you're bugging. You're actually bugging.
People are
but he's an incredible player, man. I felt sorry for him for the 76ers because they were in the playoffs in 2019, and then obviously Kawhi scored that last minute 2-pointer in Toronto. So I feel like a player of his quality deserves to be in an NBA finals, if not win the NBA. So yeah, I'm happy for him, man. Player like
man,
him
over the
deserves
moon. Yeah, man, Jimmy Butler, the way that, because that team's not a good side, and he's willed them along. He's willed them along. So salute to Jimmy Butler. Salute to the rest of the team as well. But yeah, go on.
I feel as though the closest player next to him is Adebayo.
Yeah,
and I don't even rate Adebayo that highly. you know how it is. So
I get what you're saying.
Big up Jimmy Butler, man.
Yeah, man. Big up Jimmy
so
Butler.
Much respect for him.
Facts. I'm looking forward to the finals as well. It is going to be interesting. Hey, Black Diamond, big up, man. Large up everyone who I was trying to block the spammers at the same time. It's been a minute since we've had any, so you know that's going to happen on occasion. But yeah, they're all blocked. That means they must have all subscribed and all these type of things there. I swear they got the subscription on. Big up Mia as well, who says, yo, big up to you. Again, continue to get your questions in as well. I said Ryan with the troll accounts. That's funny. That's funny out of context. That's jokes. That is funny. Now, you know, it'd have to be some dumb footballing opinion in there, and then you'd be like, yeah, it's definitely him, without doubt. Without doubt. So we've spoke about Thuram. We've mentioned Mac Allister. Do you need a sixth?
100%. That's the last point. That's the last point. Flawless. We need a lot of this summer.
All right, talk about it. What do you need, man? You know what I'm saying? I don't like all this feel-good factor around Liverpool signings.
Yeah. Of course.
It's not good.
So like I said, we need
on.
2 central midfielders, 1 6 or holding midfielder to an extent, mobile holding midfielder, a centre back, ideally a left-sided centre back, and then if you want to go over the top and try and exceed those expectations, get a backup right winger. That will be sorted. Absolutely sorted.
You would be sorted. 3 midfielders, a left-sided centre back, and a backup right winger. This just sounds like greed, fam.
This is wishful thinking. I'm not actually saying it will happen, but this is wishful thinking. The last 2, I mean, the 6, I don't know if it will happen. The backup right winger definitely won't happen. I can see us getting 2 midfielders and a centre back.
So you don't think you sign a 6?
I don't think so. DM? I really don't think so. And
how big of a hindrance would that be, considering the 2 central midfielders you could acquire?
Big. It is very big. From what I've seen of Fabinho, I think he's done in Liverpool. I think the pace of the game right now is far too quick for him, and I don't think he can handle it anymore. He doesn't have the mobility. Never had the mobility, but he doesn't have it anymore. It's completely gone.
He's lost the mobility that he had, the agility and mobility. No, that's fine.
And for that mobility and agility he had wasn't even at a higher level. Like Casemiro, comparing to Casemiro has that mobility about him. I wouldn't say agility, but mobility. Like he can get around the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's why he got picked so many times for Brazil. That's why people said, including myself, that he was better than Fabinho, even when Fabinho was world class.
Yeah, that's fair.
But even when he relied mostly on his intelligence during the last couple of seasons, but now that it's gone so quick, the game, he can't rely on it anymore. And that's where you get those stupid challenges. That's where you get so many yellow cards in the game. That's where you get your suspensions. So it's difficult for him to come back. It's sad to see because I love Fabinho. I think he's a great guy, and he's obviously been a great player for us. But it's something that we need to start thinking about moving forward. Ugarte would have been perfect for us.
Yeah, Ugarte would have been great. Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah. Kouadio Kone would be really good for us. There's been talks of him.
We'll get into the Kone conversation as well. We will do.
And Yusuf Fofana is another player that I've been on in terms of DMs that I've been watching in Liga.
Another Fofana, you know. It's crazy how many Fofanas there is about. But yeah, man have mentioned it already in the chat. Kone, thoughts on him?
Solid player. Very, very good player. Plays for Gladbach, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, I've seen quite a bit of him because I know quite a bit of the Bundesliga. Mobile. But again, the thing what I see about Kone is he strikes me as a centre midfielder, more of a box-to-box. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because his mobility is so good, and his leggedness around the pitch, and not in a bad way, in a good way, in the sense that those long legs getting around each grain of grass, it feels as though it's an aspect of his game that he relies on quite a bit. And he does like to venture forward at times. He is that kind of player that is, when he does get the ball, he will take the ball on and go forward. I don't need that in a 6. I need a 6 that will be able to retrieve the ball, have that mobility to cover certain spaces of the game, but also be able to play the ball to players like, say, if we do get these players, Mac Allister or Thuram or Curtis Jones or Mo Salah or Luis Diaz or Cody Gakpo. I don't need them to be a little bit flary or drive around the pitch. That's the job of the midfielders, in my opinion, the centre midfielders. That's why my first choice was always be Declan Rice.
Oh, you were Declan Rice? What, to play as a DM?
Yeah, and especially with that inverted fullback thing, him and Trent would be a perfect partnership. It would be the perfect partnership. That's why I say, Southgate, you've got literally the tools right there for a perfect partnership. We don't
I'm sorry,
waste
it's just
it.
England. It's just England trying to play Trent as an inverted fullback. Like, no, that's just not no. That's a terrible idea for England. That's a terrible idea. That's a
Why
terrible
do you think so?
because England don't have the defense. They just don't have the team. One, they don't have the manager for that. I don't rate Southgate. Two, they don't have the defense for that. Number two, number three, I don't rate Rice as highly as you do. Because I think about it, if he inverts, let's say Trent inverts and all this and does that, who's your back three?
Ben White, but he doesn't get picked, so that's a bit of a void.
So you play Ben White as a centre back next to who?
As the right centre back,
and then Stones left centre back.
Stones is the left centre back and Carl Walker. No, Stones is the centre back and Carl Walker.
Oh, you playing a back three?
More or less, yeah, if you want to say it, because when it does become inverted, it will become like a back three, no?
You really doing the Man City thing, innit? Just no fullbacks now. You know what I'm saying? You just had this guy. You know what I'm saying? You just no. This is England. This is not Manchester City, fam. You know what I'm saying? This is not.
But we got the players. But we got the players that can do the job. I don't know if we got the manager for that, but
we definitely don't have the manager. Definitely don't have the players. Like England, like Rice is just he's not it, man. Rice is not it. Rice is no Rodri.
I don't think you need a Rodri though. I think you need someone that could shield Trent, and he's the perfect player to shield Trent. Right. You get me, like a Michael Carrick. I think what England didn't do well enough, and they only did it partly, was Owen Hargreaves was doing the shielding for Gerrard and Lampard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think they should have put Gerrard in a more, put him more as
why they didn't play 4-3-3
box to box. They did it from time to time, but they never did it consistently. Only did it with Hargreaves, but then again, Hargreaves was never reliable because he always got injured.
Yeah, he got injured a lot. He did get injured a lot because he was good for United. He just couldn't stay fit.
Yeah, exactly. And Carrick was, I don't know why he didn't get enough game time. I think a double pivot of Carrick and Gerrard would have done really, really well.
Yeah, agreed. But it's not. Yeah, Southgate's definitely not the manager. He's just
I think people,
and I don't think Rice is the guy for that either.
I think people are calling me saying that I'm doing this inverted thing when we've got Gareth Southgate as a manager. Look, I'm just thinking of it from my perspective. Forget about Southgate. Just think of it as Ram being the coach of England. That's how I see it.
So that's what you do. So you play Walker. So you'd have Walker, Stones, Ben White, Trent, and then you'd have Trent inverting. So then basically you have Walker left back, or in the back three. So it'd be Walker, Stones.
It would be Walker right. It would be Walker on the right, Stones, and then Ben White, because Ben White is quite decent with his left foot compared to John Stones, in my opinion.
Right. There you go, Gareth. If you're watching, there you go, innit? That's what you should do.
All this is hypotheticals, man.
This is definitely all hypothetical. This is definitely. Kevin says, what we're saying about the French duo links, Ram. Well, he did mention, he spoke about Thuram, spoke about Kone as well. Is there someone else you've been linked to?
Cast your minds back a couple of streams ago when I did the Real Madrid stream. I told Flawless that I wanted a French Revolution at Liverpool.
You did say this. You did.
The French players right now are fire.
Yeah, Clairefontaine, producing French players at a ridiculous rate.
So stupid how good those players are.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Like some of the players that don't even get picked. Like you're thinking centre-backs wise, obviously they got Upamecano, Konate, Saliba, Hernandez, and players like that. Todibo doesn't get picked. Simakan doesn't get picked. Those are two very, very solid centre-backs. Wesley Fofana.
You mentioned them two. I never even heard of that you mentioned, but go on, carry on. That goes to show the depth.
Kimpembe.
Yeah, Kimpembe
doesn't get picked.
Yeah, you don't get picked. All right.
Those are proper centre-backs that any team in the world would take for their national team. And we'll start with Harry Maguire.
Hey, that's England's lookout. You know what I'm saying? Harry Maguire. I'm saying I'm just glad he's not at Manchester United. You don't start us.
I won't say that because, like I said before, Ben White doesn't get picked, and I don't know why. He deserves a call.
I think because there's just too many right backs. That's the problem. Because he plays
as a right centre back.
He could, but the problem is because he doesn't play right centre back for Arsenal, he's looked at as a right back, and that's somewhere where England have so many right backs. You know what I'm saying? So many right. That's why I don't think you should just utilize the wing back system. Why he doesn't play free at the back, I don't know. I do agree with you in that aspect. You play Trent as a right wing back, and then you have Kyle Walker or Reece James as a right-sided centre back. Easy. Then Trent, you don't have to worry about him defending. If you want him to invert, he can do that. He can go down the outside as well. You have plenty of options, and then Reece James is more than capable, or Kyle Walker, of defending one-on-one out there too. Yeah, go on.
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Seeing as though people say Trent is more of a liability when it comes to defensive IQ, do you think he's best suited? Do you think Trent is born into the wrong generation? Do you think he would have been? So in the sense of back in the day, they used to use sweepers a lot. But instead of him being the actual sweeper sweeping up the centre backs, he'll be playing in front of the sweeper. Sorry, playing in front of the centre backs as an advanced sweeper, so to say. I think Sama used to play like that quite a bit. Do you think that would have worked?
Nah, because he's just defensively not it. I think he's in the right. I think he's in the right era because there's so much onus on on fullbacks getting on the ball and playing. Whereas previous times it wasn't like that. But now, as a fullback, you have to be good on the ball, and you get plenty of time on the ball as well. That's why you play him as a wing back, because then he's got covered defensively. You don't have to worry about him one-on-one because you've got, whether it for England, a Reece James or a Kyle Walker. That's fine, and then you get him going forward as well. You relieve him of defensive duties. It's just get back in. Or you have someone who's good defensively, like a Reece James or Kyle Walker next behind him. Cool. And then obviously whether there's two DMs depending on how the back 3/back 5 would work. To me, you play him as a wing back. I've said this for the longest. Play him as a wing back.
Would you say in any position where it requires him to be requires him to help out defensively rather than be that defensive barrier?
Yeah, that's what it is, and that's what a wing back is. Because you're not, say England are playing France, he's not marking Mbappe.
Yeah,
he would be marking the fullback. So let's say it's one of the Hernandez brothers or another left back. Or if you're playing Brazil, he's not marking Neymar or Vinicius Jr. out there. That's not his job. His job is to mark the fullback, whoever that may be, with any team. Play him at wing. I've said it I look at him and I'm like, everything about you screams wing back. Why has he not been tried at wing back? I don't know why Klopp hasn't gone to a back three, because to me, you have the players for that. When I look at England, I'm like, why don't you play a back three? Have all the options for a back three. You got
what about
who can play left-sided centre back? You got Stones, and then you got Kyle Walker or Reece James. That's a good three. And then you've got Chilwell if you want to play him left wing back, and then you got Trent right wing back.
What about in a double pivot?
No,
with a more disciplined midfielder next to him.
Completely different playing with your back to goal. Completely different playing with your back to goal. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Whole different kettle of fish with playing with your back to goal. So you're receiving the ball, and there's people on your right, there's people on your left, there's people from behind. Where as a fullback, everything's in front of you. As a wing, in particular, he's playing right. Everything's in front. You can see everything. Everything's in front of you pretty much. Yeah, you might get caught out like with a run if you fall asleep, but they always say that. Footballers always say, yeah, playing fullback, because you don't have to worry. You gotta have wing mirrors when you're playing central midfield. Him facing forward with the ball at his feet is cool, but the ball being rolled into
that's why.
So it's game.
If you're gonna play in a double pivot, you have to have a specialized position for him.
Yeah,
like you have to have special instructions for him.
Well, and I wouldn't, because then you're losing out on him being at wing back playing in space. I don't want him congested central. I want him where Trent does his well. If I'm the opposition, where do I not want Trent on the ball? Somewhere wide right with the ball at his feet, facing the goal. That's it. If I want him play, if I'm of opposition, yeah, play him central midfield. We're gonna crowd him out.
I think it's a situation where it can work, but it's the case of if it doesn't work, you're kind of screwed, because in any good system, you can't have any passengers. Everyone must be on their job. And if it's not the case, if one part of that puzzle is broken, then everything else could collapse. It's a very high risk, high reward, high risk, high reward kind of thing. I see.
Like you have you have someone who's a world class player who's world class in a position. Why would, to me, it makes no sense to move him? He has world class attributes. We all know with Trent at his feet, with the ball at his feet, what he can do. So why are we moving that? Why are we moving him to then make it awkward? No, we understand he struggles defensively. Push him up the pitch, play him as a wing back. Still don't get why it's not been done. Klopp, I keep saying it, Klopp and Southgate for Liverpool and England, why they don't do that. I really don't get it. Trent as a wing back, that's a different kettle of fish. But hey, big up to is that Shakar? Hey, big up to you. He says, cheers from Cali, Kane or Usherman this summer. Big up for the super chat. Much appreciated. Man's watching from California, you know. That's crazy. Big up my guy Eddie in the cut as well. Hey, Shakar, I hope I pronounced your name right. I seen what you said, where you said Wagwan flawless, watching you while I'm at work, laughing my ass off, you come clutch. Hey, big up, man. Appreciate it, man. And like I say, I appreciate the super chat. As for this, I'm taking Usherman over Kane. Simply because.
Why? Is it because he's younger?
Say again?
Is it because he's younger?
Not even the younger. It's just I don't want a non-athletic slow striker. I'm done with that.
You're on PMP.
Yeah, man, it's got to be It's pace and power, man. You laughing because you know I'm right. You're more knowledgeable about this than me, and you know I'm right. That's the thing is, I didn't have to say it to you. You knew it.
It just, whenever I hear PMP with United, I just think of KJ all the time, bro. That's how it is, man.
Why? What did KJ say about it? What did he say?
KJ's all about PMP, man. When it comes to United, it's PMP.
Because that's what do you know what it is? That's what the game is. Because I went to the United Chelsea game, and as I'm watching, where I was sat, for those I know I've explained this before, I was saying it to Ram and others that may not have heard. I was sat just off the halfway line, but I'm high up, so I can see the whole pitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the whole pitch, and it just what's the word I'm looking for? It just pushed the idea forward how right I am about how important pace and power is in today's game. It's athlete's game. If you're not athletic, you better be doing other things that are incredible. If you're not athletic, like the difference between when Sancho and Anthony was on, and then Rashford came on early, and then Garnacho came on, is night and day. And I seen it even in Chelsea's attack. Their lack of P&P hurt them so much.
So do you rate Musiala a lot?
From what I've seen of Musiala, I rate him. From what I've seen of him, yeah.
Because he doesn't have pace and power, but he's incredibly skillful and gets in very good positions.
It's different. You can more get away with it when you're playing central, when you're a 10. But one thing you have to have as a 10, not pace and power, but you got to be agile. You're agile. You have to be extremely agile. You have to be
quick-footed.
You're quick-footed as well. I think all of those things, agile, great balance. Because that's one thing I noticed when I'm watching a game and I seen Bruno. I'm like, all my criticisms of Bruno, I see it on the pitch. Man turns, I'm older than Bruno. He's less athletic than me. I'm older than Bruno by a good number of years. And I'm like, you're less athletic than me and you are a professional footballer. That is a concern. There was a time in the game, again, some people might remember it, where United had the ball. It was in the first half and it got played to the right-hand side, just inside the Chelsea half. And Bruno tried to let the ball run and turn and run past it with Chalobah. And the old guy next to me tapped me and was like, yeah, you ain't got the speed for that. I'm like, you can't know.
It's weird though, because when he first came, he was quite agile and quite athletic. He's quite light-footed on his feet when he first came. I don't know what you've been feeding him.
Joe, you reckon it's the Manchester food? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that, mate. I just don't think he's ever had it. So if you can get away with lack of pace and power playing as the 10, but you have to be, like I said, agile, balanced, and you still got to be direct to a certain extent.
I think he was when he first came, I thought he was quite agile, like quite light-footed. Sure, he didn't play out pass, but not consistently. But he still was like, okay, you got a little bit of agility and light-footedness about you to play that 10. But I don't know what you've been feeding him.
Facts, I don't know what he's been eating, but yeah, you need to have that. Like even in the 10, because that's why when people talk about Sancho, I'm like, the only way Sancho will be a success at Manchester United in the Premier League is playing central. You can't play out wide.
So then I got a question, is Dennis Bergkamp wasn't agile. Like he wasn't like Maddison. Maddison's a great example of agility.
Yeah. Maddison is just so light. He's like a ballerina, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bergkamp wasn't like that. But how come he was so dominant in the way he played?
because he was physical, and two, his technique was ridiculous. He was pace and power.
He didn't have a
Actually,
lot
tell
of
a lie,
pace.
not pace, power. He was powerful. He was strong. He was strong.
Oh, okay.
He was strong. Like he was. When I say he was strong, like he might not have looked muscular. He's one of them, but he was strong.
A bit like Bobby.
He was strong, and he was strong. Like, and look at the goal he scored against Newcastle. That's agile. Everyone know, you know the goal I'm talking about. That's agility. That's agility.
I'd say it's more intelligence than agility in my opinion.
The thing is, you can have the intelligence to try that, but if you're not agile enough, I couldn't do that. Not a chance. I could try it, but to spin one way and spin the other, yes, it's intelligence to try it and technique, but he was ultimate. Like, he was powerful. Bergkamp was strong. If you put Bergkamp in today's day and era, was he succeed? Yes, because he has enough technique and he's powerful enough. And he's crazy.
What do you think of the comment, the literal recent comment, Firmino, the Brazilian Bergkamp?
Nah, Firmino's good, but he's not on Bergkamp's level. Let's not do this. He's not on Bergkamp's level.
But okay,
Firmino's very good. Don't get him mistaken.
I'm trying to think of any Brazilian players that were like Bergkamp.
But
I can't.
Bergkamp's on another level and I'm a United fan saying this, so I hate both teams, so I have no biases. Bergkamp's one of the best strikers we've ever seen. Yeah.
Strikers.
Well, one of the best attacking players, strikers, whatever you want. If you want to call him a 10, if you want to call him a 9, wherever you want to call him. He's one of the best I've ever seen in the Premier League. And his technical ability was ridiculous. Like, he has the technical ability of like a deep line playmaker or like a techie winger, whoever.
Rivaldo, would you pick Rivaldo or Bergkamp?
That's tough, you know.
I was thinking of Brazilian Bergkamp, and I was thinking Rivaldo.
I'd go Rivaldo. But if somebody said Bergkamp, I'm not arguing you down, because Bergkamp's technique was ridiculous. Like his ability to pluck the ball out of the sky. Like we said, you mentioned it, like big feet for a good feet for a big man. That was Bergkamp. Because Bergkamp was like 6'2". But you know, so saying with that, Black Diamond, he wasn't pace and power, but he was powerful. Like Bergkamp was strong because he shrugged man aside.
Would you say it's in the same context as the players around him at that time? Because at that time, everyone was more or less powerful in their own right.
Yeah, because when Wenger came over, he changed. He blended the two. He signed players of that ilk. Like Vieira was pace and power with quality technique. So was Henry. So was Bergkamp. Trying to think. So was Anelka. Like he did that. He was the blend of that. You know what I'm saying? And he blended that with those players I just mentioned. Petit was that. You know what I'm saying? Not so much the pace, but again, powerful. More strong. If you hear Gary Neville talk about them Arsenal teams, that's what he said. Always said strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was through whether they had the pace to go with it. But yeah, like Vieira, like he was P&P, like, but quality. He's a better version of Yaya Toure.
Vieira.
Yeah. He's a more technical version. He might not be as strong, but he was ridiculously strong and he could dribble.
Oh yeah.
Seen that? Like Vieira's like could like so.
That's why I compare him to. That's why I say again. Thuram is very similar because they both can dribble and they're big. They're big players and they can both dribble.
Yeah. Like and that's what it is. But yeah, you need in today's day and game in particular now because it's more athletes. And not because it's more athletes, because it's more systems now. The game is system based, and so somebody gets to the top of the footballing game in Europe with just having individual mavericks. That whole thing don't work no more. It's now systems, and it is pace and power. It's athletes. I say it all the time. That's why Sancho struggles. That's why he's a prime example. It's why João Felix struggles, and I rate João Felix highly. But man scored 4 goals in 20 games. He got more red cards than he did assists.
Yeah. Has there ever been a manager that actually used pace and power with technique at the same time?
Yeah, Wenger did.
Oh, okay.
Wenger did. Mourinho did. Mourinho's teams were very much like that.
Would you argue Klopp for Dortmund? Not for Liverpool, for Dortmund.
I didn't see his Dortmund side like that, so I couldn't tell you. You're probably more knowledgeable on that than me. Because you'll know more than players. But yeah, both Mourinho and Wenger did that. Fergie, to a lesser extent, did it at times. know what I'm saying? Actually, no. Yeah, Fergie did to it. Like when I look at our attacking players, it was always not so much power, but definitely pace. Like when you look at like Manchester United's, like our wingers was always like whether it was Lee Sharp and Kanchelskis, whether it was
Yeah.
Giggs, Beckham wasn't really that quick. Whether it was the strikers as well who were like that at the time. Whether it was you can't really say that actually because Cantona and Hughes, Cole was like that. He was more pace running behind, but not many. But yeah, certain players. But I definitely say in Mourinho and Wenger, they were more so like who would blend the two. They would definitely blend the two. That's what I say. And obviously Klopp had his success with it as well.
Yeah, I think it's more, if you're talking about that, it would be more both different spectrums. Like he had players that had incredible technique, like your Sahins, your Goetze, Gundogan, Kagawa, and then you got your players that were pure power, which was Piszczek, Schmelzer, Jakub Blaszczykowski, and Perisic when he was first there. So there's a bit of a both. I'd say the closest one for both in terms of technique and power was Lewandowski, but we all know how good Lewandowski is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and like that's what it is. That's why I say when people say, "Oh, you just like pace and power," no, and like bring me technique. You can find both. You can find players who are pace and power who are also technically good as well.
Like
Get me the
Steven
blend.
Gerrard.
Get me the blend. Steven Gerrard, yeah, Steven Gerrard. You know what I'm saying was a very good blend of the two. Just like go and find me the blend. Well, in particular now,
Very
that's why I'm
hard to
like,
find.
athletes.
It's very hard to find.
It is tough.
That's what me and Jerry like to call them, unicorns.
It is tough. It is very tough.
If you're talking, the thing is, anyone could be a box to box, in my opinion. But the box to box that you want to be associated with are the unicorns, like your Balaks, your Gerrards, your Scholes. I wouldn't say Scholes was a traditional box to box, but he still had aspects to it.
Yeah, but, he could because he wouldn't defend, but he could be a deep line playmaker. But then obviously early on in his career, he was an attacking midfielder who got into the box.
Yeah, but like your Gerrards, your Balaks, your Mateuses, player like that. We're talking big unicorns of the game. You get me? Because there's a big difference between being a Thurston Frings is a good example. Solid player, very solid German player, but he wasn't a Balak.
Balak was ridiculous. Balak, like, I was a big fan. Before he went to Chelsea, I was a huge fan of Balak. I remember him at Leverkusen, and then when he was at Bayern Munich as well. Like, quality player. I was a big fan. We needed him when he went to Chelsea.
Schweinsteiger is another one.
Yeah.
100%. Big player. Even you could argue Toni Kroos when he was at Bayern Munich.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And to Shikari says, what time is it in the UK? Quite late. No. Yes, 3 a.m. But you'll always get late streams here on Sarcasm City TV. So tune in. You tune in here, check out the upcoming live stream schedule. There's always late streams here and obviously late streams on the Twitch as well. That's obviously if you're in the UK time zone. But yourself, Shikari, who's in the US time zone is different. That's why I do streams at different times. So we are worldwide here. But yeah, that being said, let's continue to bump up the likes. We're at 29. Let's get up to 40 likes. Just under 50 people in here as well. Let's share this across the socials as well. Let's get over 50 people in here to continue to get them questions in before we close out. Keep a Manchester United or Liverpool related as well, people. Please make sure you do. But yeah, shout out to KJ. He knows what it is, man. It's pace and power, man. This is what it is, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, most of my players that I've wanted is pace and power in it. So yeah.
And you've been linked with Conde. Thoughts on that? Somebody mentioned that earlier.
Nah. We already got a right-sided centre back, isn't it? We already got Konate. Like I'd rather have
Konate, man.
I'd rather have a left-sided centre back. You get me? Like a Inacio, a Vardio, even though that's not realistic at all. Like a Schlotterbeck. And there's this guy called Van der Ven. I'm not too keen on him. I think he's very physical. I think he's very big and very quick, but I don't think he's defensively good. I'm not too keen on him at all. But if that's what the club wants, then that's what the club wants. I'd rather have a Schlotterbeck, in my opinion, because he's just better overall. But yeah, if anyone wants to get centre backs, I think the Bundesliga, even though people call the Bundesliga all the time, that's the way to get centre backs. That's
saying
majority.
the way forward.
Majority of our players, our style of play suits Bundesliga centre backs.
Yeah, first. Because we've been linked with Kim Min Jae, so I'm like, yeah, that works for me, 110%. Blue American says, if you could sign one player for United, who would you sign? Also Liverpool. If I could sign one player
from each club.
No, I think he just means in general because he didn't say from each club. Let us know, Blue American, he might do. But if I could just sign one player, who would I get?
Mine is
That's a
easy.
great question. Go on, who?
Joshua Kimmich.
Kimmich is a shout still.
He guarantees success for most teams in the world.
Yeah, he's that good. If I could sign one player, who would I get? Shit. Yeah, great question. I don't know, Because United need so much, it's hard to pinpoint one player. That's the issue. It's because we need so much. Like we need a goalkeeper, we need 2 new midfielders, we need a striker. So it's hard to pick from them 4 positions as the one certified. I really don't know. Who's the guy like? Who was it? Would it be Kimmich? I'm trying to think.
Kimmich is the easy one.
Probably
Kimmich is the easy.
Probably Kimmich, to be honest. Probably Kimmich because he is a quality central midfielder. Probably Kimmich. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe De Jong actually. Could be De Jong.
Frankie's a shout as well.
Yeah, it's probably De Jong, to be honest, if I could sign one player. Because I'm really like when I watched him, like in the World Cup, I was like, I get it. I watched him one time, like the first goal. Obviously, I watched him more than once, like in the World Cup. But when I watched him in the World Cup, I instantly was like, I got it. I literally got it. And I wouldn't go Valverde,
Not Federico Valverde.
Nah, if I'm getting a midfielder from Madrid, I get Tchouaméni. Sold on Tchouaméni.
Oh, not Camavinga.
Camavinga would be second. But Tchouaméni's the one that I'm so like, if I can get one midfielder and I can't rewind back time and get a 25-year-old Luka Modric, I'm going with Tchouaméni. But don't get me wrong, Camavinga and Valverde are not bad options. But for what United need, give me Tchouaméni and Casemiro in the midfield. Woo!
2 6s though.
Woo!
You might need a little bit more going forward.
That's why you get the ball and you give it to Maddison and then we come. You know what I'm saying? In that. Get 2 fullbacks you can create. Don't worry about that creativity stuff, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'd say Kama might be a better fit, in my opinion.
I'll give you Tchouaméni, man. So there's 2 6s. Hey, Casemiro showed that he can get he's not only is he our best defensive player, he's arguably our best attacking player. Casemiro showcased levels. I didn't know he was that good offensively until he got hit.
Oh, I did. I knew it was passing a bit. I think people, because obviously if you have a midfield of Kroos and Modric, your passing ability would be so outshunned. It's unbelievable. I knew how good of a passer he was.
I seen him pick up the ball one time and ping a ball with his left foot. And I was like,
he's a very good passer. He's a very good passer.
It's crazy. Yeah, Jez is saying as well. Kimmich would be my pick too, ironically. Yeah, probably be Kimmich or De Jong. Probably De Jong. How old's Kimmich?
28.
Yeah, either or.
Oh, he would last long as well.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry. Yeah, you don't have to worry about like in terms of like energy and stuff like that. But yeah, Kimmich is. I'm hearing Kimmich is going to leave as well. Or reports are saying he's going to leave. How true that is, I don't know.
I don't know if Munich will want him to leave, but if he says he wants to leave, he will leave because there'll be clubs lining up for him.
Facts.
And he will happily take Bayern all the way in terms of getting a move.
Hey, let us know in the chat if anybody knows, or you might know how long he's actually got left on his contract.
2 years, I think.
Is it 2 years left on his deal? All right, so if he does kick up a fuss and he's like, I want to leave, they're going to have to let him go. No, I hear that. Let's see what else you lot are saying as well. To Shikari says, Flawless, how you feeling for the FA Cup final? I'm nervous, not going to lie. Heart says we'll win. Mind says we'll get battered. I'm feeling kind of like this. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like this. Like, yes, can we win? Yes. Am I confident? Yes. Am I very confident? No. What team does he line up with? Because our options, which were already limited, are even limited more so now because of injuries. Martial got injured yesterday, technically now. So he's out. Anthony's 50-50. So you look at it and go, all right, who's the front three? Because I already said, set up how we played against City in the home game in the Premier League and play Bruno wide right, stack the midfield with Casemiro, Fred, and Eriksen, play all three. And then play Bruno wide right, Rashford left, Martial up top. Well, now with Martial injured, You go Rashford up top, play Sancho from the left, and Bruno wide right. It's not ideal. None of those options are ideal, but that's all we got. Weghorst is a no. Garnacho off the bench is going to be needed. Palestri's unknown. Like, you can't throw Palestri in a game like this. Who else we got? But no other options.
No, but Amad Diallo.
He's not back yet. I don't think he's back yet. And I don't think he'd throw him into. I don't think he'd throw him into an FA Cup final.
I thought if he cut off, I thought once the championship season's finished, he's available as soon as he comes. Or is it just the end of the actual calendar season?
I think it might be end of the calendar. You know what I'm saying? I think it might be the end of the calendar.
Footballing calendar.
Yeah. I can't see him just being like, yeah, just come back and play it, which would be great to have him off the bench. Don't get me mistaken. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But yeah, do we have a chance against City? Yes. Will it be extremely tough? Of course. It's going to be extremely tough. Of course. Kevin says, United fans, would you rather take Mignon over Costa, since I'm seeing stronger links towards Costa? Don't know enough about either of the goalkeepers. I'm sure Rams will. I don't, but I just want a new goalkeeper. So whether it's Mignon, whether it's Costa, bring me a new goalkeeper. Either or I'm cool with. And we're going to see it. In Ten Hag, I trust with that. Bring me a keeper.
Costa, I'm not so much. I wasn't keen. I haven't seen a lot of him. Mike Maignan, I've seen a bits of part. He's a solid keeper, but I think he's had injuries this season. I don't know if that would be a red flag.
Yeah, Maignan, he did get injured for a long period of time. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a red flag, but I think he's a quality keeper.
Yeah, just bring me a keeper. That's where I'm at. Just bring me a goalkeeper.
You just need somebody, man.
Yeah, I need somebody because the hair is not it, people. He's not. And LFC for the double, City are definitely putting Kyle Walker in to try and deal with Rashford, so it might negate high impact a lot. That's why you play him. That's why you tell Rashford play on the opposite side to where Walker is. I'm saying go. That's why when I spoke about it, I was like, maybe play Rashford wide right, and then you play Bruno wide left to do the job and invert, but not invert in terms of creativity, invert to stop what City have got going on, and then play Martial up top. But like I said, with Martial injured, it must be Rashford up top now. Anthony might get the nod. He might play Anthony right. He's not going to drop Bruno. So maybe he plays Anthony from the... Maybe he plays, I don't know, Bruno through the middle. And he plays Anthony from the right, Rashford from the left. Maybe he does that. But I'm not sure. Ten Hag will have a plan. That's one thing I trust in his 100. Manager, and he's shown me enough this season, is he will have some form of game plan, and we have the players to implement that game plan. How did Martial get injured again? They said it was a tear on his hamstring in the Fulham game. So they said hamstring injury. That's what I read. Hey, now over 55 of you lot in the building. Continue to bump up the likes, people.
Big up.
35. Get up to 40 likes, man, before me and Rams close out this show. Get your questions in, people, before we close out as well. Yeah, Chika, if we play the way we did against Chelsea, yes, of course we'll get absolutely packed by Manchester City, but we won't be that offensive. We won't be that open because we won't have that much of the ball. What we're going to have to do is defend, sit deep, defend well, soak up pressure, and hit them on the break. So Rashford, Bruno, Sancho, Fred, if he makes third man runs, same with Casemiro. We got to be clinical on the break. Just got to catch him out. You know what I'm saying? Win the ball back, long go over the top to Rashford, running off of Stones, running off of Diaz, running off of Akanji, etc. That's what he needs to do. We can do it. And there won't be a watch along for the final. Putting that out there. You lot already knew. For those that don't know, don't come to the channel here expecting an FA Cup final watch along. There will be a show afterwards, but yeah, don't come expecting an FA Cup final watch along. I want to shower my TV in peace. That's what I'm on. I'm saying I want to watch the final and shower my TV in peace. I'm saying I'll either be absolutely devastated and depressed or over the moon. Either or. Let's see what else you lot are saying. If you missed any questions, Ram, feel free to get to them as well before we close out.
Yeah, obviously Warrior sent one through right now, which I'd like to talk about. It's about
that's cool.
Carvalho.
I did start that still. Yeah. Go on.
I think it's a bit weird that people have sided Carvalho over Jurgen Klopp. Don't you find it a bit weird?
Why, when you say people Carvalho over Jurgen Klopp, what do you mean? Jurgen Klopp, what exactly got said?
As in they rather back Carvalho than rather backing the manager.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Like it's a bit weird, and there's a what's it called? There's a common trend with the kind of players the kind of fans that they are. Just there is a common trend. I've started to realize that, and I'm like, cool, you do you guys.
What they like that type of, is it what they like that type of player, or they like youngsters? Like, is that what
The
it
very
is?
eye test merchants. Very strong eye
Okay.
test merchants. Like they're one more of like I wouldn't say like a Ronaldinho to an extent, but like a charisma. You get me?
Yeah. I
Easy
get
on
what you're
the
saying.
eye, too much. You get me?
Rather than, it's got to be both. I say it all the time. It has to be eye test,
Always.
stat test. It has to be both.
I
One without
always
the other is useless.
I look at stats to see what the players. So when I was doing my stats for midfielders, looking at midfielders, that's why I came up with Fofana and well, not Thuram, or Thuram I already knew about. But when I came up with players like Fofana and Ugarte, I looked at stats first to see what they were about, and then watched them live and see what the eye test was saying. I was like, yeah, these guys are
matches up.
solid players and they're good. So like I use both. I use both 100%.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's gotta be both. Like, that's what it is. Like, I'll use it and be like, eye test. I'm like, all right, what does this player look like on the eye test? All right, cool. And say it's a strike. He looks like a goal threat. Then I go and see his numbers, and then I have to be like, right, I'm completely off. Man has 5 goals in 25 games, or man has 15 goals in 25 games. That's how I kind of look at it. It's both. I look at both. You be like, oh, eye test merchant. No, pass both, because the best players in the world pass both. Top players pass both. You know what I'm saying? For the vast majority, Messi, Ronaldo, prime example. Like Harry Kane, Haaland, the list goes on. If we list the best players right now in the Premier League, they pass the eye test. We mentioned Kimmich, passes both. Without even looking at stats, I know he passes both.
When Salah wants to perform consistently,
yeah, he passes both. You see his effectiveness, you see his finishing, you see his impact. That's what it is. That's what it is. But yeah, I can't believe people are backing
a kid.
Carvalho over Klopp. That's crazy.
It's weird. It is very weird. And look, the guy, I feel as though Klopp has been a bit harsh on him in the sense that he hasn't given him a chance. But if the guy is surplus to requirements, and people have been banging on about Klopp being ruthless, this is being ruthless.
True. It's a valid point. You got a point.
I don't think the club really wants to let him go. They'd rather let him go on loan and then come back a better player, which we should have done this season. This season we should have sent him back to Fulham or sent him to Benfica
and let him play ball. I fully hear you, fam. I fully hear that. You know what I'm saying? Fully hear what you're saying.
That's how it is. Because I think I was kind of when I saw him live, I was like, okay, this guy is not only a 10, but has that little bit of I wouldn't say exactly like him, but a bit of that Pablo Aimar in terms of close control and that little nippy feet that he could just get past defenders. I was like, this guy could do something at left wing if he wants to be a creative. If you want to go the creative wide players, he could do a little bit of something.
Yeah, Pablo
but it
Aimar
didn't work out.
Baller, Pablo Aimar.
The Messi before quality.
Messi. Top quality, man. He was a different level at Valencia. He really was, for real.
That was Benitez's player.
Oh, was he there at the same time as Benitez? Yeah. Crazy.
Benitez was the one that got him through.
Yeah, and to Shikar as well, who asked about this. Yeah, Rams already spoke on this in regards to what the plan is for Liverpool from Bellingham. Obviously, they've been linked with Thuram. They've been linked with Kone as well. So, and I'm sure they get linked with more players as well. But you hit the subscribe button. We're too short of 6,520. Hit the subscribe button. And there's over 50 of you in the building. I know there's at least 2 people who have not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell as well and get us up to 40 likes before we close out. Because we'll be final few questions. I'm saying final few. And yeah, you did, Jez, when he said I told Ryan he doesn't fit Klopp's system, he'll be gone. He's a 10, and you don't play with a 10.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's weird though, because if you cast your man back like a decade ago, who was the best manager in the world to have developed 10s? Jurgen Klopp,
Was
Goetze,
go on, carry on.
Kagawa, Sahin when he was playing at 10.
Mm.
Like he's developed 10s, like really good quality 10s. And we're talking Goetze, who was golden boy. Kagawa, you guys spent about £32 million on
Yeah, we
him.
did.
And he was a quality player for Dortmund.
Mm.
He was probably the best player in the world. Well, best player, the best manager in the world to develop number 10s. And it's weird how he's just no longer that guy anymore.
Because he's under different pressure at Liverpool than he is at Dortmund. That's why.
I think someone's opened his eyes about the 4-3-3 and now he just can't get out of it. He was like, "Oh, this is a new system. Yeah, it's good, very good.
It's good, man. It won you a Premier League, the Champions League, a FA Cup, and a League Cup, man.
It's true, but the best thing about German system is so malleable in terms of formations. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2. You
Okay,
can change between each one. 4-1-2-1-2
I'm
diamond.
pulling out the big words like I'm not just computing what malleable means. You know, this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's why I stopped. This guy. Never heard that used in a footballing term before. Me Google this shit. You know what I'm saying? Ram teaching me. Man said malleable and kept it
Versatile.
moving.
Versatile is the right word. Versatile.
Yeah. Like I have no idea what that meant. Obviously, I figured it out because of the context, but I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? This guy a joke, man. You know what I'm saying? I said malleable, you know. Like I'm just gonna be like, yeah, like I hear that every day and that.
Malleable is like for what's it called? When you're building like rings and
yeah, that's what it says here.
like
Wait,
metals,
how'd you
innit?
spell it? Because I've just googled it right now. How'd you actually spell it?
MALLEABLE.
Yeah. That's the way. I was just making sure it was right when I
It's
put
like
it.
what's it called? A blacksmith is known to do that make metal malleable.
It says,
that shit.
define malleable. Yeah, it says a metal or other material able to be hammered or pressed into shape without breaking or cracking. All right, easily influenced as well.
Don't get any ideas. Chat, don't get any ideas. There are no ideas about that.
Yeah, Rams with the big words at 3 a.m. in the morning, you know. You know what I'm saying? I was like, huh? This guy, you know what I'm saying? And that. But yeah, I think that's everything. Anything else you want to discuss, Rams? My guy, LRB Rams. Yo, what does the LRB stand for in LRB Rams?
Bro, I forgot.
What do you mean you forgot, yo?
I forgot.
What do you mean you forgot, yo?
I forgot. Honest to God, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I made that.
Hey, in the chat, you lot come up with what LRB means. Then, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure the chat will help you out.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Jez, low key, you need to shut up, Jez. That's what you need to do, mate. About low key is not a big word. How about you shut up, Jez? How about that? That's what you need to do. The joke, man.
Nah, it's 3:15. It's a big word for that time.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the time, man. It's 3:20 a.m. or 3:19 to be exact. Joke, man. But yeah, anything you want to add in regards to Liverpool that we've not spoken of before we close out?
Looking forward to the transfer window. See what we're gonna do. We could have the conversation. We could have this conversation again in a couple of weeks' times. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna definitely bring you. Anytime, you already know. Anytime you want to be on one of these on the United Liverpool show, just give me a shout. Anytime, 100%. It's always good chatting to you and hearing from you. I'm half looking forward to it, half not from a Manchester United perspective. Because half we've been linked with fucking Mason Mount, but then today we also got linked with Neymar. So it's kind of like, all right, cool.
Mason, money, minerals, Manchester Mount.
Oh, you like it now, though, innit? You like it
now?
Yeah. But it was Manchester, you know what I'm saying? Merseyside, money, minerals, Mount. You weren't having it. Huh?
It sounds better with Manchester, innit?
You won't know. It sounds better with Merseyside, man. You know what I'm saying? Mason, money, Merseyside, minerals, Mount, man. That's what it is. That's it, man. I'm telling you. Anyhow, we fucking signed that guy. I'm just I'm not involved.
What goes around comes around, innit?
Yeah, facts. Football and karma don't miss. Yeah, football and karma don't miss. It really don't miss. Hey, Jez, I told you to shut up, mate. I might time you out. But yeah, love to everyone that's locked in. We're back live today on the channel here on the YouTube. Just a one stream, Sarcasm City Sports Q&A. So hopefully we're discussing Mason Mount to Manchester United falls through. That's what we're hoping for. A breakdown in talks. That's what we're hoping for. Hopefully Liverpool don't sign Thuram and get Mason Mount. Hopefully they hijack the deal. that would make it even better as well. I was saying, hopefully
We'll
it is.
see.
All right, we're gonna close out. Love to everyone that's locked in. Check out the upcoming live stream schedule because it lets you know all the shows that are indeed coming up on the channel all the way till Sunday. And this has been the Manchester United Liverpool show. Man United podcast meets the analysis at Anfield podcast live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in.